Hello and welcome to another episode of Motors for the Masses, and we are here today at Ragley Hall in Warwickshire at the ABR Festival, which is the Adventure Bike Rider Festival. It is June the 25th and it's sunny for the minute. So what are we doing here today, Jamie?
Well, just thought we'd come up and have a look at some bikes so we can go and ride some, do some little videos for you all.
Exactly. So let's roll the intro and get cracking.
Crack.
So right off the bat, I would like to say bollocks to Kawasaki, because they're the only manufacturer we've come across so far where they've said no GoPros, no filming. So they haven't allowed us to film at all, even though we've said we're here to film. That's the reason why we've come, to ride bikes and film for the YouTube channel. They've said no, it's our company policy that no GoPros are allowed when we're out on the bikes. And to top that, I booked to go on the Z900, the old RS version, and they gave me the keys for the new Z900, which I am not interested in at all. You might be, sorry, but we're not going to ride a bike that we can't film. So I just went, oh, forget it, and walked off.
You know, I mean, the worst thing about it is that it's a publicity event. You'd think they would grab as much publicity as possible.
Absolutely, and the fact that they said no filming, I mean, we've seen so many people out on bikes with GoPros everywhere, all over the place. But there you go. So bollocks to Kawasaki. I was going to go on the Z900 and...
Yes, I was going to go on, what was it? Oh, the H2.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I missed out on that, but hey, yeah.
But as you said, you can't ride it as you would like to ride it anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's a guided ride.
It's
not high speed, it's not decent speed, it's
the
just
bike's a missile, isn't it?
And you'd be poodling.
Yeah.
First and second
country
gear
roads and H2 probably don't really mix that well. No. But hell,
no.
Yeah.
Drag strip, runway, happy days.
It would have been nice though to report to you guys on my personal feel on the ride of it.
Yeah, and we were happy to do that anyway, but unfortunately we can't film. It's phenomenal. We went to Honda and said about filming before we even booked, and they went, yeah, of course you can. And when I said about Kawasaki, they're like, what? Triumph said the same thing. So later on, I am going out on the Honda Rebel 1100, and Jamie's just been out on what?
The CB500X.
Yeah. But we will tell you about that in a little while. Also tomorrow we've got a lineup. We're hopefully getting on Ducatis tomorrow and Triumphs as well. So we'll report from them. We're also popping on the maybe the Motor Marini and Rayu. We'll give those a chance. And also we're looking at the new Royal Enfield Scram 411s and hopefully the 800 Trail as well. So we'll be reporting on those too. So for now, it's over to Jamie and the CB500X.
So a little test ride on this little 500X there. Let's send this out in 2 groups, so I'm waiting for the first group to go out. Not bad looking bike. Not too sure about the green, but... A bit of a traffic jam, I think. Anyway. Dash read's pretty clear even in the sunlight. It's a nice comfortable seating position. The suspension is very supple. I mean, it feels nice and smooth. Clutch operation is lovely. I've read the old CB500, I've read the CBF 500 that Honda did. I imagine it's going to be pretty similar to the CBF 500, just a bit higher maybe. The throttle's response on low revs is good, nice and snappy. Nice and light. I'll tell you what, it's an easy bike to ride. It feels lovely and smooth, I must admit. Windy helmet, maybe a bit noisy. 40 mile an hour, 6th gear, 3000 revs, 40 mile an hour. The seat is nice and soft, pleasant. Under 4,000 RPM. A little bit breezy today, but I'm not getting buffered around too much. There's no buffering on my helmet from the screen pushing the wind. Overall, quite nice. Quite nicely, to be honest. Nice smooth power delivery, fairly torquey. This is a nice little bike, to be honest. I mean, it's so easy to ride. I mean, you can see why 500s are really used for, you know, training to get your license for the big bikes. I mean, so smooth, a little bit torquey on the low revs, smooth on the handling, brakes are great. it sits just nice for me. I ain't got much to complain about this bike, to be honest. I mean, the gear change is smooth, all the operations operate lovely and smooth and positive. Handling supple as you expect for this style of bike, but it handles really well. Not jittery in any way. Yeah, I mean, don't get it wrong, power wise it's not going to set the world alight if you use a 600 or 1000cc sports bike. However, I can't see how for general riding why you'd really need much more. Yeah, I don't know what it is with tall handlebar bikes. Because I'm a sports bike rider, they do just feel a little bit odd. It feels like my arms not ache, but just slightly go in that way, just in the position the way they sit on the bars. Other than that though, it's a fantastic little machine. I'm not too sure about the green colour and the styling of the front end, but personal preferences. The main thing is the core of the bike is excellent. But then again, I'm a fan of the old CB500. They handled well, they went well, and I think they've kept that with ease. that's it, ride over. Yeah, not a bad little bike. 20-mile ride. I'll say, my arms aren't aching, I just feel a bit like I've been hanging the weight off my arms off the bars, but it's just because it's a different style of bike that I'm used to. Other than that, a nice little ride. There we go. Ride of the CB500X. Beautiful.
Right, so here I am about to ride the Honda Rebel, but not the 500. No, the 1100. Apparently, it's a very, very different beast. So let's find out, shall we? Just been told by someone who rode this yesterday that it's got a sport mode. So that's the button for it. I apologise if I sniff through this video, but unfortunately, hay fever is an absolute nightmare for me today. Now this style of bike is very different for me. I'm not a feet forward kind of guy, so it's a very different ride to what I'm usually on. Very low seat height, comfortable so far. Seat is uber comfortable. It's very windy today, and the rain is very sporadic all over the place. It's very good balance on this. Quite a simple ride. A lot of people here. A lot of people camping. In sport mode, at slow speeds, a little bit jerky. There go the Moto Marinis. In fact, that one at the front there is our demo bike. standard mode, should be a little less snatchy. It is very different. There's no snatch on the throttle now. Much smoother to ride at slow speeds. They've been doing these guided rides all day. And it's been non-stop. Trying to get slots is not simple. You can't pre-book. I can't book for tomorrow. Very smooth gear change. It is very comfortable. I'm going to stick it in sport mode in a minute. In fact, let's do it now. Oh, rain mode, user mode, sport mode. And even in 6th gear at 50 miles an hour, you feel it wants to pull very easily. 1100cc. I hope you can hear me okay. I don't know if I like the feet forward position. Put it in 4th there. And it's got some pull. It really does have some pull. Takes the corners very simply. Decent visibility out of the mirrors. About 95% visibility, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Handlebars are comfortable. Good suspension, even over the bumps it takes it very easily in its stride. Nice. Even in sport mode, at this average speed, 50 miles an hour, it's not snatchy. It's only low down in the first couple of gears. It's got a decent note to it with the exhaust. A nice thump. Village speeds, and just plonk it, I don't know, that way into standard mode, and it's a lot less snatchy. Elephant mode. I was trying not to do a massive sneeze and splatter the inside of my visor, and it came out like Dumbo. Take that as you will. Right, sport mode. It's got enough go. Brakes are very easy to use. Look at these little villages, and these nice tiny little roads. It's quite pleasant. No, I'd go further than that. It's very pleasant. Oh, look at that. Isn't that lovely? I love houses like that. I'm really surprised by this. I thought I would hate it. I wanted to try this because obviously everyone goes for the Africa Twin. And maybe tomorrow I might try and give that a go, Africa Twin. If I can fit me in. But I wanted to try this because the Rebel 500 is a bit meh and a bit dull. Whereas this, it's a Rebel but with an 1100cc engine. So you've got quite a bit of poke on a bike that is basically a cruiser. And even though my feet forward position is not preferred, in fact I don't like feet forward position, I'm actually very comfortable. I find it very simple, very easy to use, and not at all displeasing. At low speeds, you know, as long as you remember which way to go, standard mode is very simple to get into. And then when you want to give it some, slap it in a sport mode and bam, done. Everything is easy to reach. Some lovely houses around here. Everything is nice and clean. Dash is easy to read. I actually thought I would find this bike boring, but it's not. It's not on the edge racer, and the corners you will take a little bit wider, and you've got to counter steer round corners rather than lean it round corners. But that's just getting to know the bike. It's very forgiving on your backside. Suspension is really good. It's just a joyous, easy ride. Now if I was to compare this to perhaps the Benelli 502C, I think that's quite a fair comparison. However, it's got a lot more poke. The bars are comfortable, you don't have to stretch. I suppose you would have to stretch a little bit if you are manoeuvring sharply on slow speeds. But other than that, not much at all. It's simple. Wow, look at that place. Oh, I'd love to live around here. Wow. Oh, very picturesque. You can tell we're in Shakespeare country. Okay, the big question, would I buy something like this? I don't think I would. And the reason being is that I'm just not a feet forward kind of guy. I had the Yamaha VMAX, which is a drag bike, this sort of style, but feet were more 90 degrees and a little bit further back rather than feet forward, and that was brilliant to ride, and it was you know, enough power to pull your arms off, especially when the V-boost kicks in. But other than that, it was okay. You know, it was a nice bike, it rode okay, but it was just a bit, yeah, okay. It doesn't excite me. That's the thing. It doesn't excite me. And you should be excited on a bike. I mean, my Triumph Explorer, 1200cc, 1215cc, triple engine, sounds brilliant. Pulls really well. I mean, there you go. That it does pull well, this thing. I mean, it's hard to tell when you're in a line of people and you're not giving it some beans in the parameters of what's legal, of course, obviously. But it just doesn't give me that excitement factor. Like something the Triumph Explorer or my MV Augusta or my Speed Triple or my Firestorm. All very different beasts, but all give me that massive grin factor for very different reasons. And this is just a nice, comfortable, joyous, safe ride. And I think that's where Hondas are, really. They're safe rides. You know you're going to like it, but are you going to absolutely love it? Unless you get on a stonking Firestorm or a Fireblade or something like that. Definitely does pull very easily. It's definitely got a lot of power. But is that enough? No. Lots of bikes have lots of power, but do they give you that excitement factor in all aspects? I mean, you get the excitement factor when you twist the throttle, but you don't get the excitement factor in the fact that it's a feet forward kind of bike that isn't really my style. So perhaps I'm biased because I'm riding a bike that isn't the kind of style that I would usually ride. Here comes the rain! No! Not rain! Don't do rain! Just as I'm wearing my bloody jeans. Ah! Stop! Well, just had a massive downpour. My legs are soaking wet, my arms are soaking wet. Been wearing my bike jeans. And I think I've got my vents open on my jacket. Because it was hot earlier. So that was fun. And all of a sudden the roads are bone dry again. Weird. My hands are cold because my gloves are now soaking wet. And I've got my summer gloves on, so that was a good idea. But as a sum up, I have to say the CM 1100X is a great bike. It does lots of things you want it to do. It rides well, it's powerful, it's comfortable, it's forgiving, it's easy to use. Would I have one? No, I wouldn't. Why? Because it just isn't my style, and that is the only reason. If you like this cruiser style, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Anyone for cricket? No, me neither. Oh, look at that interesting paint job over there. Let's watch it dry. Much more interesting. Oh. I think it's safe to say I have wet balls. This is information for you probably didn't want to know, but now you do. What amazes me, the amount of people, when they come to an adventure bike show, they feel they have to stand up. You're not off-roading, you're on the road. Just because there's a slight bump doesn't mean you have to stand up. So I'm now on the Triumph stand on a bike that I'm hoping to ride tomorrow. Now this is the new Triumph Tiger 1200. And as you know, I have the 2013 Triumph Explorer, the 1215. And this apparently is a very different beast. So I should be reporting on this tomorrow. Now, unfortunately, I can't have an interview with someone from Triumph here because they have a list of people that are allowed to be on camera, and none of them are here. So hopefully we're going to try and set up an interview at the factory along with a factory tour. So stay tuned for that in the future. But for now, behold the beast, and let's find out what it's like. So we're now at the KTM stand with Richard. Now, Richard, I've got a question.
Yep.
7 weeks ago, I came off a KTM.
Yep.
Doing a bit of green laning.
What KTM was that?
It's an EXCF 250, just a baby.
Yep.
But I am inexperienced. Last year I did the Mick X Dance experience in Wales on Rayu 300s.
Yep.
Fantastic. Really loved it. Bought a KTM because that's what you do.
You obviously did that school and thought that was the thing to do.
Yeah.
Good
exactly.
Man. Yeah.
And about 40 mile an hour, hit a bump wrong, flipped it, went down face first, broke my leg, broke my ribs, and hasn't put me off.
Get back on the horse.
Yeah, 4 weeks later I was back on a bike. Now the two that are most interesting to me, I've got a Triumph Explorer 1200 or 1215.
Yeah, so obviously that's your touring adventure bike.
It is, along with a few others, but I've also got the KTM.
Yep.
If I was to change those, what would you recommend? Something, again, I'm not an experienced off-roader.
So you've got 1200 Explorer,
yes.
You said. Right, okay.
Heavy.
So it's a heavy bike.
But it rides like a dream.
Yeah.
Obviously something that can do run on road, possibly a bit of green laning, but not ridiculously heavy.
So if you want to come down in capacity, I'd probably go for an 890 Adventure R.
Okay.
If you want to do more adventure stuff, but a little bit more off-road with that bike than your Explorer. It's a bit more off-road bias, the Adventure R, 890R. If you want to do a bit more road use, shall we say, go for the 890 Adventure S.
Okay.
Which is the road version of the R, basically.
Okay.
That's more off-road bias on the R. Both same horsepower, both same engine size. One's taller than the other, so off-road against street use.
Right.
But for off-road, you say you've got an EXC 250F, a great bike.
Yes.
You know,
4-stroke, not 2-stroke.
4-stroke, yeah. Yep. I've always said that, you know, when if we've got an enduro adventure school, shall I say, or we've got schools for all of them. We've got disciplines for motocross school, enduro school, and adventure. And what you should do is go and try the bikes first at our enduro school, I should say.
Whereabouts is
that? KTM Enduro Experience, which is run by Aidy Smith.
Okay.
Very well-known man in the way of enduro racing, and across gold medal winner in the ISTE many times, British champion, British Supermoto champion. This guy is probably the best guy to teach you which bike's right for you. You know, we've got schools where you can go and try these bikes and work out what's best for you. But the 250F is a wonderful bike. You know, I took my son to one recently with AB.
Right.
And I said to my son, you make sure you ride the 250F because that's the best bike for you. And,
Not for me, clearly.
well, that's probably down to ability.
I'm the first person to put my hands up and say,
But
I was inexperienced.
you're still laughing,
Absolutely.
you're still smiling, so you're
Yeah,
obviously still enjoying it.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
So I think if you could just go and see one of our schools or our adventure school where you can try the 890R,
Right.
or go to our enduro school and try the 250F.
Right.
I think you work out which bike's the best for you.
Okay.
Obviously above the 890R you can try the 1290S or 1290R as well. They're a bit more extreme off-road,
Sure.
but obviously the S is more road biased and the R is more off-road biased.
I mean, what I don't want to do is what I think a lot of people do is that they get the big all singing, all dancing bike
Yeah.
and then don't use it for what it's designed for.
Of course.
I mean, the 890 is something that appeals to me,
Yeah.
looks-wise as well as, you know, size-wise, weight, everything else.
Very much.
What can you tell me about this bike?
Okay, so this is 890R. The taller of the two bikes, you've got one that's more road biased than the other one, which is the S. This is the R, so it's off-road. All road legal, obviously.
Sure.
But it's got more off-road capability.
Okay.
So taller suspension, taller bike. 196 kg, if I'm right. Yes, I am.
Okay.
20 litre fuel tank, saddleback tank, so carries its weight really low.
Right, okay.
About between 110 and 115 horsepower. So it's got
Enough.
good horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you go to the 1290s, then you're looking at 160 horsepower.
Yeah.
Which is obviously, they have different engine maps as well, so you can put it in rally mode. So off-road, you can adjust less horsepower, should we say? That's
Okay.
probably the better way to do it. Rain modes, everything else with the 1290s. But this has rally mode as well.
Right.
Now, if you're looking to do, it depends what you want to do, whether you want to go more road or more off-road. What's your favoured choice? What do you do? Why have you got two bikes? That's the question.
I've got 12, but let's not go there.
let's not talk through all of those.
No. I mean, for the road use, my choice is an MV Agusta Dragster RR.
Okay, wow.
So that's sort of covered on that basis.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, you said you have an Explorer, so you use your Explorer for doing what?
Well, mostly for if I take my son out.
Yeah.
He's 7. Doing a bit of touring, going camping, that sort of thing. So it's mostly road.
Okay, there you go. So you've answered that question.
Sure.
So mostly road would then make me say 890 or 1290S.
Okay.
And then
Which is
890S is at the far end over there.
Okay.
And then 1290S is next to it. So this is
Right.
R, this is R. R's always have usually an orange frame.
Okay.
So anything with an orange frame is normally an R model.
Right. Okay.
As you can see, 1290R, 1290S, 21-inch front wheel,
Sure.
19-inch front wheel.
Okay.
So more road biased, electronic suspension. This has conventional suspension, compression rebound adjustments, but it's taller, much taller, so more off-road capability. And obviously with 21-inch wheel and 18-inch rear, you've got that choice of off-road tyres that you can use.
Sure. Okay. So I think I would possibly go towards the 890S
890S,
rather than the
and
890R.
then look at another
Another one of those. Yeah.
enduro range. So, but the bike, 250F is a great bike.
Yes.
Wonderful bike.
Yeah.
So it's one bike that I would even, I put my son on one recently. That's the way to do it. I think it's a good novice bike, but it's also can be a great professional's bike.
Right.
So it's one bike that you should go and try. Obviously, we do two-strokes as well.
Yeah.
You've got a 300 two-stroke with us today. But as for what you're trying to achieve, I think probably the 250F is the best way to go.
Okay.
That would be my choice anyway.
Well, maybe we'll get it fixed and back out on the lanes. Well, thank you very much for
You're very
joining us.
welcome.
It's been great to
man.
talk to you, and thank you for having a chat.
Very well.
Thank you.
Thank you.